Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that's going to let you make one super easily. And then you can distribute it everywhere and even earn money doing this. All in one place. And it's free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters. Here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and even edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard.
Ever since we discovered Spotify for Podcasters, it's been really great. Really get the people involved and ask questions and get ideas for new podcasts. So it's really helped us. And I highly recommend you give it a try. So download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you, sir?
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got. If you don't like what we tell you to believe in, we'll kill you.
All right, kids. Listen.
Don't
Podcast
listen to this.
if you're not of age.
What's of age?
Of age is like you can make your own decisions in life without parental guidance. 18,
16?
18. We're not in Atlanta.
Georgia is 16.
We're not in Atlanta. That's what I said. We're not in Atlanta. This is 18 and up. Look,
Atlanta.
we're a bunch of dudes, and we're going to say some really bad words, and probably some things that might offend you. But
Don't listen to this.
can't wait till you listen.
Yeah, don't.
If
do
you're
it.
18 and up.
Don't do it.
If you're 18 and
Yeah.
up.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. Conspiracy Podcast. The Conspiracy Podcast. I'm Eric. This is Sean. Jorge.
Hello.
What's up, everybody?
Natalie Wood. We know nothing about.
This is zero about.
Yeah.
You guys.
Same.
No? This is a brand new for you guys? All right.
That's why I was excited. 'Cause
All
I was,
right.
I'm not even going to look into it.
This is a crazy story. It's a really wild story. Natalie Wood. Let's just dive in. So,
You guys are going to learn with us.
Natalie Wood was born Natalia Nikolaevna Zakharenko,
So she's
right?
of Russian descent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or it's like Slavic.
Ukrainian.
Ukrainian. or
Yes,
Slovenian.
Ukrainians. Yes, exactly.
Kazakh or something like
She would later be known as Natalie Wood. And she was an American actress who began her career as a child star.
that.
She successfully transitioned to young adult teenage roles, and then she successfully transitioned to adult roles.
Which is very difficult to do. There's only a
Yes.
few that have actually done it, like Leo.
Yes.
True.
And then who's the other guy? Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah,
He's a child
he-
star.
yeah,
He transitioned. It's really difficult to do.
Yep, that's right. So, and this is back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s.
Oh, that's a sketch time
Okay.
to be a child
A
actor.
long
But
time.
this is how long she did that.
That's
you
a
know
long
what I mean?
fucking
That's
time.
because she started out as a child, and then teenager, and then young adult, and then adult. You know what I mean? So she appeared in 74 different movies.
Damn.
Wow.
Damn, she was a
Yeah.
legit. That's a lot.
She was nominated for 3 Academy Awards.
Whoa.
She was the goat of the time.
She was the go to the time. She was the guy.
She was
The
nominated
guy.
for 8 Golden Globes, and she won 3.
Okay. Hey, what a stud.
Hey,
Like
Yeah.
she was. This is
it's
not.
awesome just to be nominated.
I know,
Seriously.
8 times.
You imagine having a Golden Globe up on the mantle? I wouldn't be pissed off
8
about
times.
that.
Now I'm going to list out some of her famous movies, and you've heard of these.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Miracle on 34th Street.
Of course.
Yes.
Okay. 1947.
Oh, classic.
Mhm.
Yes. Rebel Without a Cause.
I've never
Yeah.
same it, but I've heard about
You've
it.
heard of it.
Yeah.
Same.
This is James Dean. You know
I've
what I mean?
definitely heard
Yes.
about it.
She was nominated for an Academy Award for that movie.
Nice.
Best Supporting Actress kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah. The Searchers, 1956.
Don't know
She
that.
also did West Side Story.
Holy shit, really?
1961.
Really?
I did not
Yeah.
know that.
Yep. She also did Splendor in the Grass, 1961.
She also
I don't know
did
that
something later in life, which was Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice.
That is a terrible movie name. Bob and
well,
Carol and Ted and Alice. They just fucked that one up.
If you looked into it, you would. It's about two couples and exploring their sexuality and stuff like that.
I see. They're like, should we switch? Partner? What do you want to do?
So, but she was a movie star. She was beautiful. Honestly, look up photos of her. Stunning, super hot woman.
Movie
As
star.
the boys like pull it up. But all the way from
Hey, Google,
being
check this.
all the
Search
way.
this for me.
Honestly, I want you guys. We're gonna do
ChatGPT.
it. She was like a wholesome girl, and
Yeah,
she was
she's very
like
pretty.
she was a good-looking woman, and she was actually. Here's what I got from watching a lot of her stuff and reading about her. She was an actress. Like she was good at acting.
Yeah, she was like...
She wasn't just like tits and ass.
Yeah, she wasn't just like a showpiece.
Yeah,
right.
she was
She was
good
legit.
at acting.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, okay, good. So Natalie Wood, she married somebody named Robert Wagner.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Robert Wagner?
I have, yes.
Okay. So he is famous in his own right. He was a famous actor in the 60s and 70s, etc. But also, just pop culture wise and where you probably know him from, he was number 2 in Austin Powers.
Oh, oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The
Yeah.
older
Yeah.
guy with the eye patch.
Yeah,
that's
I
Robert.
do. I
That's-
love that guy.
That's Robert Wagner.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, he's going to be horrified. He's going to be just super mad. But that's what he's known for.
He's known for
Yes.
being number 2 to Mike
Number
Myers.
2. Yeah. He's not the Rob Lowe. He's the older
Yeah.
of the Rob Lowe. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, exactly.
Even though Rob Lowe's like 90 now and he looks like he's fucking 35.
Yeah. Good looking man.
Bastard.
So Natalie Wood married Robert Wagner, right? She married him December 28th, 1957 in Scottsdale, Arizona when she was 19.
Oh, wow. That was young.
So they apparently it didn't go so well because she was so young and it was like too, I don't know, you weren't ready.
And you're a movie star. Don't be tied
Yes.
down.
Yeah.
You weren't
Sure.
ready. They were both super famous. And so they split up a couple years later. So there you go. Then she started dating many people. Just
Just right out the gate.
she was the hot.
She's like, I gotta
commodity.
explore.
No, let me just. I'm
famous.
Yeah.
I'm not doing.
I'm gonna throw out some names. You
Sorry,
ready?
Rob.
I'm gonna throw out some names. You ready? All right. Warren Beatty.
Oh, wow.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Jesus.
Okay. Let me throw out another name. My all-time favorite, Michael Caine.
Wow.
She dated Michael Caine.
Really?
Yes.
I love that. Is it Sir Michael Caine?
Yes. yes. Absolutely.
Like classically known as he was Batman's butler, and
That's right.
Yes, that's
I
right.
love Michael Caine.
So she dated a couple other guys, and so she was a movie star. You're going
Movie stars date other movie stars.
Going
Yeah.
movie star to
That's
movie
right.
star, right? So then she also married somebody British producer named Richard Gregson, and they had a daughter named Natasha in 1970. But a couple years later, she also divorced from Gregson.
A classic little run rate here.
Yep, exactly. So
Classic Hollywood.
she also dated, I don't know if you remember this, but a former governor of California named Jerry Brown.
I don't.
Anyways, yeah. For the California people, you guys know who Jerry Brown is. He was a governor for a long time for California. Anyways, a rumor also was that she dated Sinatra a little bit. So
God,
there's
fuck Sinatra. After that Maryland episode,
Yeah.
fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's all I think about now.
I
know,
literally
right?
hate him. I can't. Every time I'm like,
Can't
you're a
deal
piece
with
of shit.
yeah.
Like,
You're not gonna listen to his music album anymore, or his Christmas album.
Climb
Yeah.
into the fuck you. Like, never listen to your shit ever again.
So fast forward a little bit to 1972, she reconnects with Robert Wagner.
She's like, listen, Rob, I've been through the stables a
This
couple
is a
times
decade
now.
later.
Sure now.
This is
I
a
love
decade
mature.
later. Yeah, this is a decade later, and now their sparks fly again over, I guess. She had a kid with somebody else, keep in mind.
And then
Right.
they didn't have a kid though.
They didn't have a kid.
Okay.
But then they reconnected. Then they had a kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's like a classic love story here.
So she's 29. You said a decade later. So she's about 29, 30, whatever.
So she was 29, 30,
Okay.
in that
Yeah.
range. Right? Okay, good. So then they had a daughter named Courtney, and she was born in 1974.
I love how it's like the first that is Natasha. And then it's like,
Yeah.
Courtney.
So they had a great life. I mean, I watched a bunch of documentaries. I watched a bunch of interviews, and I watched some clips of her movies. And I had seen Rebel Without a Cause, and she's a great actress, and she had a really decent life, and they lived in
Yeah,
LA,
I bet it was
and
pretty dope.
yeah, they lived in LA and they vacationed at Catalina Island. Like the Catalina wine
Fucking
mixer.
Catalina wine mix. That's exactly
Catalina
what I was
wine
about to say.
mixer. Yeah.
Fucking Catalina wine
And
mixer.
they would go spend their time on a boat and
Just fucking living the dream.
living the dream.
And I love how you're like,
honestly,
she had
yeah.
a decent life. Kidding me? That's like
Yeah.
my dream life.
Yeah,
bro.
exactly.
She had a
Living the dream.
fantastic life.
Like, the last time I was on a boat?
So then they both started doing movies at the same time. They got married. They got remarried for the second time. Then they started doing movies at the same time, and her career took off.
And he was
And his kind of like stagnated
his
a
went
little
into
bit.
being number two.
Yes. Yeah. Very true. 30 years
I
later.
know. He's 30 years later. He became like a side character in a Mike Myers movie.
In September of 1981, Natalie started on a movie called Brainstorm. The filming began in North Carolina, and the star of Brainstorm was Christopher Walken. Okay.
Yeah. No.
Is that your accent? Go.
I don't know.
You started off pretty good.
Yeah, do it.
You just because he does it like he pauses, like that weird pause, like in between everything he's trying to say. I went to this, store. I'm not a fucking impressionist.
All right, go.
But he does. You do the pretty good.
Yeah.
Do
it, Jorge.
Not even gonna try.
No, I'm not even gonna
You
try.
do it, Eric.
And the butter, churn the butter. So they're doing this movie, and they're doing it in North Carolina. And so they'd shoot a majority of the movie and then go to LA to film
finish,
the rest of it
yeah.
in the stage, like studios and, in the stage, right? So they go, and then that's when also Robert Wagner comes back to LA as well from Hawaii,
yeah.
right? Okay, so they have a boat, and it's called the Splendor. It's a yacht. It's not really a boat.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
a
yacht.
I got a little boat.
It's a little boat.
Yeah.
It's like it's like 90 meters.
87, a little 87 footer.
So
Tiny.
So after Thanksgiving, Natalie says, hey, we should invite Christopher Walken onto our boat.
Oh God, she's already getting.
Right?
She's already like in the fields.
Yeah. And so
She's like,
Robert,
why am I with Rob?
Robert apparently is upset because it was supposed to be an outing with the wife.
And he's also, I haven't seen you in 9 months.
Yeah.
Right?
So they invite Christopher Walken onto this boat.
Reluctantly.
Right?
Babe, I'm doing a movie
And so
with him.
what they do is they but they go from LA to Catalina Island. Yeah. This is November 28th, 1981. So it's Natalie Wood, Robert Wagner, Christopher Walken, and somebody named DeVerne, which is the captain of the boat who keeps the boat and is in charge of the boat. Okay. So they go to dinner that night at Doug's Harbor Reef in Catalina.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
sounds like a great bar. Fucking fire food.
I know.
So Don Whitting, the night manager of the restaurant, said that he was worried that all four were too drunk to make it back to the boat safely.
Fuck yeah. They got lit.
And I'm just telling you this part because this is a witness.
Yeah. He was like, they were
Witness
trashed.
says they were so drunk that he even called the harbor patrol to make sure they got to the boat fine, because you got to take a little.
You got to take a little boat to get to the bigger boat.
You
Yeah.
got to take a little dinghy to get to your yacht that's parked.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
Super rad life. I love that. Are you kidding?
No, as Eric would say, decent life.
Decent life. It's a decent life. Yeah. Okay, good. So the harbor patrol made sure the group made it safely back to their yacht at around 10:30 p.m.
Okay, dope. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
Little escort.
So now I'm going to read you the story, and that's on video from Robert Wagner.
Okay.
Okay. Now, keep in mind, he stutters a little bit, and it's not like a statement. It's him being filmed.
It's him just like talking.
Yes. And this was filmed like 2 years ago.
Oh shit. So it's like
This
fresh.
is recent. So this is the beginning of it. This is the beginning of the story. So he's talking to his daughter. Okay. So when we were at the Isthmus, which is the island inlet of Catalina Island.
Okay.
Yeah. When we were at the Isthmus, I went to sleep. I was really tired from the night before.
So you're tired from being drunk.
When I woke up, Christopher Walken and your mother to this bar that was there, Doug's Harbor. Right.
Okay,
So he's saying they went to Doug's Harbor.
I see.
Right.
Okay.
So to this bar that was there. I met them. I got a shore boat. These boats that come up and pick you up, and I went and I met them.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand that.
We had dinner, which was pretty nice. And I remember I had, a few glasses of vinos.
Just a few.
Okay, pause.
Pause. Like
Pause
8
here.
bottles of Venus.
Okay. So he says, I had a few glasses of vinos.
Yeah.
So when you say to somebody, you're recounting a story that's probably a horrible story.
Yeah, terrible.
And you say, I had a few glasses of vinos.
And you just got turned.
How many did you have?
Like 12.
Yeah.
Yes.
Easily 12.
A couple
Every
bottles.
time,
Yes.
I'm trying to
Yes.
downplay it. I'm like,
Yes.
I like
And
4
a few,
beers.
Vino is like
It's a vino.
It's a vino.
It's like a little
no
vino.
big deal, right?
And they're like, they don't serve vinos there. So.
So he says, we had dinner, which was pretty nice. And I remember I had, a few glasses of vinos. And I was feeling pretty good.
pretty turned up.
We came back to the boat. I opened up another bottle of wine.
Another bottle of Venus.
And I had a couple more glasses of wine.
Okay, so he's like
Couple.
17 glasses deep. Right?
Damn.
And I sat there with Christopher Walken. And we started talking. He started to mention to me about your mother and how wonderful she was.
Uh-oh.
And what a great actress she was. And how he enjoyed working with her. And he said, I think it's important that she works. And I said, I think it's important you stay out of her life.
My man, that could, I'd be like, fuck you, Tim.
I was a little teed off by that. Suddenly, he's telling me what she should do and how she should behave.
That's a good point.
I got angry at that. So your mother went down below. Our bedroom was down below. She went down below to get ready for bed. I sat there with Chris and I said, why don't you don't tell her what to do and stay out of our life? I picked up the bottle and I smashed it on the table.
Damn, my dog. That went deep.
I was really angry at him about it.
Hey, just a quick pause. Like, good for this guy for defending your woman, man. Don't give a shit. Fuck you, Christopher Walken. Like, I like this guy.
Yeah, okay.
This guy's solid. Breaking the glass. That's a little
extreme.
That's a little much.
Yeah, a little extreme.
Well, I like the sentiment. The sentiment behind it.
He was a couple vinos in.
A couple
vinos in. Couple vinos
he
in.
makes him act a little different.
Few. No, he said few. A few vinos in.
And then
another bottle.
Damn.
I know a few is like
so
9.
many. So many. As I look back at it, unjustifiably so. So he's saying, yeah, I was really angry.
He was angry, and he's like, it was unjustifiable.
At him about it. As I look back at it, unjustifiably so.
It's totally possible that he was being very innocent. Like, hey, your wife's amazing. Like, good for you, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. But
yeah,
I could see this is supposed to be date night with the wife.
Right.
Yeah,
You're
and
inviting this guy. And he's like, oh, I love working with her.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you.
So then he goes on and he says he ducked out. He went out and up on the top of the deck, and I followed him up there.
Oh, shit. He's going.
Damn.
And I was still saying to him, stay out of it, Chris. She's got 3 children, yada, yada. I mean, I was also a little high at the time.
Oh, damn. Oh, my God. The plot thickens, bro. Like, high on what? Crack? What the fuck?
I think this is one of the biggest parts of this entire story. There's no report that said he was high.
Oh, he's like...
And there's no report of what he was high on. Because obviously to you, or to us, like, what is high compared to drunk?
Well, based on this, based on them being Hollywood...
what are you high on?
That's what I'm
bro.
True.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But it's not the vino that he's talking about.
Oh, no.
No.
When he says the word high.
How do you think he's still operating at a high level of that many vinos?
Exactly.
Yeah, I would be...
Dude, I 2 vinos. I'm like, no.
Yeah. Babe, we're not doing it tonight.
I'm like, tell Christopher sorry, but like, I'm passing out.
We're just calling it vinos from now on.
No,
Like,
dude.
I love that.
Then I'm gonna hit the boys up for some vinos.
Vino sent a cigar after this, boys.
Hey, honey, we're just going for some vinos. It's no big deal.
So he says she's got 3 children, yada yada. I mean, I was also a little high at the time, I might say. But I calmed down. I guess me being out in the air. Anyway, I calmed down. So we went back down below and we talked for a while. He went to his cabin, which was up on the forward part of the boat. Mm-hmm. I had Dennis, which is the captain, the guy. We swept up the glass, the broken bottle. Mm-hmm. We swept up the glass on the floor and cleaned up the salon a bit. And we talked about leaving the next day to go back to the mainland. I went below, and when I went below, she wasn't there. So I looked around. I looked in the bathroom and she wasn't in the bathroom. I went on the aft end of the boat and the dinghy was gone.
Oh, the
dinghy
boat?
is a small little boat,
yeah.
right? Little like inflatable boat usually, or even maybe not inflatable, but small rowboat essentially. Yeah. And I went on the aft end of the boat and the dinghy was gone. And I came back up and I got Dennis and Chris and I said, Natalie's not here. She's taken off. I guess on the dinghy. Did any of you hear it? And no one saw or heard anything. We would have heard it if the dinghy got fired up with the little motor. So I called the short boat, the people who come to pick you up. When one of the guys came back, I thought maybe she had gone back to the restaurant or back to the isthmus where there were these little slips where you could put your boat in, but the dinghy wasn't there. She wasn't there. I yelled up to the guys, "Is Natalie up there?" And they said, "No, she's not here." I got back on the shore boat. I came back. She didn't go to shore. At least she didn't go to the isthmus. So it was then that we called the shore patrol and said to them, "Have you seen anything?" They said, "No, we haven't seen anything." So then we called the Coast Guard and the Coast Guard came in. And then, we waited for a long time. It seemed like forever for me. They were looking for her. This man that I knew and your mother knew, Doug Bombard, he took care of everything in Catalina at the time and had all the moorings, which we had one of those moorings. He said, "We found her." I said, "Is she okay?" And he said, "She's dead." And then everything went out from under me, just everything went away from me. And we were all stunned, everybody. That night has gone through my mind so many times. You can imagine, Chris was there with me. He, by the way, is a very stand-up guy, a gentleman, a true gentleman. So that's the end of the quote of Robert Wagner.
Okay.
Yeah. And so at around 11 p.m. that evening, the other passengers, they realized that she'd gone missing, right? And so at go ahead.
I'm going to say, did it say what time they got back to the boat? And did it say that?
10:30.
Okay, so 10:30. Okay, so this is like 30 minutes.
Yeah. So that was at around 11 p.m., right? And that's when they realized the dinghy was gone.
Okay.
Or,
So
she was gone. The dinghy's
so it's
gone.
been 30 minutes and they got there. She went downstairs. He's telling off Chris, and now she's. They're like, "Oh shit!"
So at 1:30 a.m.
Damn. So fucking the 2.5 hours later now.
Yeah, a ship to shore call was made, and 2 hours later, at 3:30 a.m., the Coast Guard was finally called. So at 1:30 a.m., those little boats were called.
They're the shore patrol.
Okay.
Yes, they're not Coast Guard, but they're like
They're right below.
yeah, whoever runs the harbor.
So at 11 p.m. they noticed she was not there.
Yes,
But not until 1:30 did they call the shore boat.
that's right. And then at 3:30,
What were they doing for 2 hours?
I think he.
Because remember he said he went on to it.
He got one, and he went back to the place. He's like, "Have you seen her? She wasn't there. She wasn't in the slip."
Oh, okay.
And then I guess he went back to the boat.
Yeah,
maybe. You're not wrong.
Maybe they had a couple more vinos.
Yeah, no, Jorge's not wrong.
It's true.
Like of the discrepancy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So we got a couple hours.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Couple
Keep
hours.
going.
So then at 3:30 is when they called the Coast Guard.
Coast Guard's getting called
right away,
Yeah.
for sure.
So, and I quote, "There are many, many things that should be examined in this case, but mainly the 4-hour wait in order to call the Coast Guard is the main concern."
That's a long time.
And that's from Marty Ruley, who wrote a book basically called Goodbye, Natalie. Goodbye, Splendor. Yeah. So at 8 a.m., around 8 a.m., that's when Natalie Wood's body was found. And it was a mile south of where the yacht was, off an isolated cove known as Blue Cavern Point.
That sucks.
So it was just on shore.
So she was floating in the water.
Floating. Okay,
she was
so she
face
drowned.
down. She was face down, floating in the water.
She drowned, maybe.
Did they do
We're
an
gonna keep
autopsy?
going,
Did
or
she
what?
die?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Get into it.
Yeah. So Dr. Joseph Choi, which was a deputy medical examiner at the LA Medical Examiner's Office, performed an autopsy on Wood. I read the autopsy report.
Oh, really?
I really dove into that. And he noted that her blood alcohol level was super high. It was 0.14.
Oh, yeah. That's fucking high.
So it's
point,
twice
like 0.08
as
is like the
legal
driving
limit. Like, no, that's your drunk.
No,
right?
I think 0.08 is
when you're drunk. Or, I mean...
Well, that's the legal driving limit.
I think you're like at that.
But you're like,
if you're above 0.8, you're like buzzed.
Yeah.
You're like buzzed.
Yeah, you're buzzed.
You're feeling
When
good.
you get to like 0.14, you're probably like. Hey.
Yeah.
That's right. So the toxicology report said that she was 0.14. She had several bruises on her arms, legs, and face.
Oh, that's interesting.
But
I guess that could have been from like you're in the water and
So this
were
is
they
what-
posthumous?
this is what so this is what the Dr. Joseph Choi says, which is that he believed that they were consistent with falling overboard.
Oh,
So they were not deep bruises, but they were surface
it's like
bruises.
it's like
bruises.
a belly flop, like a slap.
But there's bruises on her thighs, on her wrists.
But if you're in
And
the
her
dinghy,
legs and
you're not
face.
really. If you're in the dinghy, how are your legs getting? If you're falling over on a dinghy, I can't imagine getting bruised by like it's like a canoe flipping
But
over.
in
No, but maybe she fell off the yacht.
But how'd the dinghy get gone?
Well, we don't know.
Okay.
So he says in the report that they were called small bruises.
Okay, so there's not like fucking.
No, there's small bruises on the hands, thighs, and wrists. There was no head trauma.
Okay.
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 So it means that she wasn't hit and then like dumped.
Additionally, in the report, and I read this, the dinghy was found nearby her body.
Okay. So it seems plausible that she did take the
The
dinghy.
key was in it, and the key was in the off position, and the oars were still tied.
Okay, so meaning someone had to have took the key, put the key into the dinghy, and like.
Unless they just kept the key there.
But that seems
True.
I know.
Maybe they did.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe they did.
But
they did.
The person
That's totally possible.
the person who found the dinghy said it looked like it just was untied and not used.
Oh,
So it just kinda,
because
like,
the oars
floated
were
away.
tied. The oars were
The
tied.
oars were tied. Nothing. It was on
so
off.
maybe they do keep the key in there. Just keep it because this is like
And it just floated away. They forgot to tie it up or
there you
anchor
go.
it or whatever
Okay.
it's called.
Yeah.
And,
That's true.
Yeah.
Or maybe
and it just happened to be close to her?
I don't know. Maybe Robin is.
But remember,
coke-fueled
she
rage.
was found a mile away from the yacht.
That's a far.
But that was 4 hours later, right?
No, it was like 12 hours later.
But yeah, exactly.
And that's
Yeah.
a long
Or no,
way to
7
drift.
hours
But
later,
the fact
7
that the dinghy, like, how do you make the dinghy be close to her though? Because I guess if they're in the same current,
Yeah,
they're just
exactly.
gonna get
Yeah.
dragged. They're just gonna get dragged to the same place. Yeah.
Maybe she meant to get on the dinghy. She kind of like
Slippy slip.
flip floppy into
She's
it.
all drunk. Drink some water. Oh shit!
right.
Okay, so she died. She horrible. She had a funeral, of course. You know,
Thanks, Aaron.
I'm just like progressing time,
I
like
see.
things
Yeah.
going forward.
To
So
the future.
So Christopher Walken never spoke about it.
Ooh.
He never spoke about it.
Dramatic for
5
him,
years later, he gave a quote to People magazine, and he says, "I don't know what happened. She slipped and fell in the water. I was in bed then. It was a terrible thing. Look, we're in a conversation I won't have. It's fucking boring."
Oh,
Quote.
Damn.
Okay, first of all, technically you weren't asleep. You were getting bitched at by her husband, bro.
Dude.
And then he went to clean up. So there is a moment in time where like you weren't there, and like the husband was with the captain cleaning up the glass.
Right.
I mean, what was that, 10 minutes?
Dude, that's more than enough time to dump a woman in the fucking water. Sorry,
Yeah.
in the water.
I love Christopher Walken.
Me too.
I do. I really do. But I feel like he should talk about it more.
The fact-
or at least...
No, the
At
fact that he
least,
says
like-
it's a fucking bore. That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
a
like-
that's a bit
that's
much,
sketchy.
bro.
Yeah. So nothing happened. No, they ruled it as an accident, and they ruled her original ruling. Well, her original ruling was that it was accidental drowning. Okay,
Yeah.
so fast forward to 1997. Walken then gave another interview. Okay, to Playboy magazine. Go figure.
Of all people, the peak of journalism.
Yes. He said anybody there saw the logistics of the boat, the night, where we were, that it was raining, and would know exactly what happened. You hear about things happening to people. They slip in the bathtub, fall down the stairs, step off the curb in London because they think that the cars come the other way, and they die. You feel you want to die making an effort at something. You don't want to die in some unnecessary way. Alone. She had gone to bed before us, and her room was at the back. A dinghy was bouncing against the side of the boat, and I think she went out to move it. There was a ski ramp that was partially in the water. It was slippery. I had walked on it myself. She had told me that she couldn't even swim. In fact, they had to cut a swimming scene from Brainstorm. She was probably half asleep and she was wearing a coat. End quote. Christopher Walken.
I mean, that does seem plausible.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems super plausible. That
Logical.
does- yeah.
Seems kind of logical that,
Yeah.
it all checks out like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so pretty much nothing happened aside from every anniversary. There would be a tabloid about it, and it would sell papers and it would be a mysterious death, 3 superstars.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken, Robert Wagner, Natalie Wood.
Walken.
You know, I know you guys didn't really hear about Natalie Wood, but she was a superstar.
Clearly, she was
You know what I
72
mean?
films. That's
Yes.
you're not like a shitty actor.
3 Academy Award nominated. You know what I
That's
mean? Like
yeah.
she was there.
Just
you
to
know?
get nominated,
And so
it's like, you're set.
Yeah, you're there. Yeah.
So fast forward to 2008, right?
Okay, so this is like almost 30 years after her death.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so remember Dennis Davern? He was the captain.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. He wrote a book.
Oh yeah. Of course he
Of course he
did.
did, right? He's now taken his recollections about, and in his sworn declaration, he says the following.
They were on heroin.
He says the yacht outing began on Friday, November 27, 1981, around noon with passengers Robert Wagner, Natalie Wood, Christopher Walken, and myself, the caretaker and skipper of the Wagner yacht Splendor, a 60-foot sport fisherman boat with a 13-foot attached dinghy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a 13-foot dinghy. That's not.
That's
not that
was
small.
not that, but
When I thought I was just thinking like a canoe.
Yeah.
Like straight up.
It's true. It was a tense atmosphere from the start of the cruise, and it was made clear to me by Robert Wagner that he was not content with entertaining his wife's brainstorm co-star, Christopher Walken.
Clearly.
As the day progressed, the tension thickened, and I offered Christopher Walken, Natalie Wood, and Robert Wagner each a Quaalude pill.
Oh my god. He's like, I just happen to have some Quaaludes on me. Like,
Of which we all took.
we all, even the captain. He's like, oh, Papa Lude.
So, but
That
maybe
reminds me like of Wolf of Wall
Wall
Street.
Street. Get the ludes.
Yeah.
I think we got a dud. Or what is it?
Yeah. He's like crawling to the car.
My favorite is like the stairs, and like he literally shows him falling down like 20
man,
stairs, and it's
so
like
good.
4, and they're like this big.
That movie's so good.
It's a dud. Let's take another one.
So good. Actually, one of my favorite scenes is when they're fighting in the kitchen and they're like hitting each other with the phone.
He's like, he raps,
And they're
like,
so
he raps,
fucking
like,
high
he's, like,
and
trying to
messed
strangle
up.
it out.
Oh, so good. But this does go back to the statement by Robert Wagner where he talks about being high.
Oh,
Right,
so he was
right.
on Quaaludes, which is like,
But maybe he didn't admit it. You know what I mean? He's not going to admit it.
I mean, how were they even coherent? It's like all the vinos
I was
and
just
like
about to say
downer,
that.
downer. Like
It makes more sense if he was like high on coke. Like he can take all these
Wait.
multiple
So
bottles
help me out on the
vinos.
Is a Quaalude an upper?
It's a downer.
It's a
It's a
downer.
downer.
Yeah, it's a downer. So you got like downer,
Why would
downer,
you take
downer.
that?
I know everyone's. They're like,
Because they were tense.
here's how they were fighting. Shit, fucking
Yeah.
shush, shut up, bitch.
Wow, that's weird. I
Leave
didn't
us
think about
alone.
that.
No wonder she fucking fell into the water. Jesus, probably
Don't
wasted.
tell my wife what to do. Like can't even like get it out.
Listen here, Walken. Sorry, Eric. So he gave him Quaaludes. He took a Quaalude too because he said we all took them.
So Davern declared that the Hollywood actress Natalie Wood and the boat captain returned to the luxurious yacht on Saturday. Sunday is when she died, right? So Saturday. And all 4 of them then went to dinner on the island on Sunday. But
So when did
Davern-
they take the ludes? When were the ludes taken? Was it on Saturday or Sunday when they were getting the ludes?
Friday.
Oh, so okay. So
That's what he says is Friday.
According to him,
okay,
yeah.
so Friday.
According to him.
Okay, so it still could have been coke.
He definitely was not
Yeah,
high on
Friday.
the fucking ludes 2 days
Yeah.
later.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah, still, yeah, like woo.
So,
On the
but so then though, Davern says that Walken and him smoked weed that night.
So this is Saturday night.
This is now the night of the
Right.
big
so
night.
They're gonna smoke
Okay.
a little dude.
So then Robert Wagner and I joined Natalie Wood and Christopher Walken for dinner at Doug's, which is the bar. After drinking at the bar for an hour, we were seated in the dining room at approximately 7. Christopher Walken and I returned to the Splendor to retrieve wine, 2 bottles of Sauve Bola. I don't know what that means.
I don't know words.
We left 1 bottle in the dinghy and took 1 bottle back to the table. Christopher Walken had offered marijuana, and he and I smoked a joint on this brief mission to get the wine.
I just love how the captain is like, fucking, I got no credentials. He's like, you better hit, like, you got a joint? Hell yeah. Want some lewds? Got you.
Let's do it.
Get the Phenos. Let's get the Phenos.
So then
this is the guy you want driving your yacht.
the
Like,
boat.
damn.
shouldn't you have noticed it and be like, you're fired? But
Yeah, I know, right?
Christopher's like,
Yeah.
you gonna smoke this with me? He's like,
Yeah.
this is a test. He's like, yes. Like, all right.
so then later, and then he just he glazes over the part of when she went missing in the fight. And
So
he
this-
just goes
this
and
book's
says,
about him.
yeah. And so then
Yeah.
he goes on and says that over 2 hours passed before I finally convinced Robert Wagner to make the call for the help. He did not call professional help. He radioed the island area and said, somebody is missing from our boat.
Yeah, but
Well, yeah, I mean, what?
So
why
he's
do you
drunk
say
as
it?
shit at
oh,
this
yeah,
point.
I mean, even so, like, even mentioning her name, that doesn't really, like,
yeah,
change anything.
that's right.
Yeah. So despite being admittedly drunk and high, Davern has said during media interviews that his memory of the events leading up to her drowning are crystal clear, and that he originally lied to the cops during the initial investigation.
He's like, despite
Wait.
being not a
But
credible
now-
witness
What
at
did he
all.
say though?
But now he's telling the truth.
I love it. It's like 20 years later, my memories are crystal
So,
clear.
so he was saying that he, at the time he lied, and he agreed with Wagner's side of the story to the cops.
I think he was saying he lied about being on drugs.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's probably what he lied about.
Yes.
I haven't had anything on true. I'm fucking clean as a whistle.
Quote unquote. But now he is telling the truth.
That he's a drug addict?
Okay, so then here's the plot twist of the story.
Oh, right.
Right?
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
November 17th, 2011.
I mean, this has been going on for damn near 30 years.
30
Like
years
just
after
yesterday
her
we
death,
found this out.
the LA County Sheriff's Department reopened the investigation after receiving, quote, additional info from unidentified sources who contacted the authorities.
Oh, man. I want to know the
So in
source.
2011, they reopened the case.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's so...
So then a few months later, Davern was on NBC Today, of course,
Oh, this guy's just trying to get paid.
and he said that he lied about Wood's death when he originally was questioned by police, and he claimed that Wagner was responsible for the tragedy.
Okay.
He's just trying to promote
This
his book.
guy's just trying,
He's
to,
just trying to get
he's
paid.
trying to get paid.
2 years later, January 2013.
I mean, it's going to be like yesterday.
this is like
know,
this,
right?
is, this is present time. This keeps going. The LA County Sheriff's Department officially changed Wood's cause of death on her death certificate from accidental drowning to drowning and other undetermined factors.
Oh, so it's like unknown.
The change came after investigators determined that some of the bruises found on Wood's body during her initial autopsy may have been sustained before she was drowned.
That's what I was wondering if there's a posthumous on the bruises. So,
However, in the coroner's report, they said they couldn't confirm when the bruises were inflicted. Lieutenant John Carina says, as we've investigated the case over the last 6 years, I think Wagner is more of a person of interest now.
oh, he's
Interesting.
like- so maybe he's like pissed off. I fucking told you not to bring Chris here, woman.
Quote, I mean, we know now that he was the last person to be with Natalie before she disappeared. Keep going.
I still,
2018.
oh
my
my
God.
God. This is like the never ending story.
LA County Sheriff's Department Lieutenant John Carina officially names Wagner as a person of interest in Wood's death for the first time.
30 years ago, you were on a boat.
Yeah.
We're going to need you to come down to the station.
And that's it? That's as far as they got?
But I'm going to fast forward it one more time.
oh my God. 2025.
Yeah.
2022.
Oh my God. What the?
And I quote from Lieutenant Juego
This guy's
Renega.
still on the force.
That was a different person.
okay.
Lieutenant Juego Renega.
Why you look at me?
And I quote, he says, all leads in the Natalie Wood case have been exhausted, and the case remains an open, unsolved case.
Dude, I want to see this on Forensic Files in like 10 years. I swear
If
to God.
additional leads surface in the future, which have not already been investigated, the case will be reassigned to a detective to investigate the new leads.
God, that's why the captain guy is full of shit.
Oh, yeah. I think he's just trying to sell his
Like,
book
and
and,
he's like-
trying to get paid.
And he's like, oh, look how cool I am hanging
let me
out
tell
with
you one
movie
other
stars.
part about the captain. The captain, Natalie Wood, had a sister, a younger sister, who was also an actress. She was a Bond girl.
Oh, cool.
Her name was Lena. And Lena and the captain did a 12-part podcast on how they believe Robert Wagner killed.
It's 12 parts. That's a lot of parts. I personally think, okay, clearly this guy has already proved himself not a reputable actual witness. He's clearly been on drugs, on fucking Quaaludes that they stopped making for a reason. They literally stopped manufacturing them because they're fucked up.
Yeah.
And he's been smoking weed with Christopher Walken, drunk, drinking the Vinos. He's on the Vinos too.
On the Vinos.
And then he's...
What is Vino?
It's a type of wine.
Okay.
Just wine.
It's just
Yeah,
the wine?
Yeah. That's how you say wine in Spanish.
That's what they're calling it.
The Vino.
The vino.
No, well, there is a type of wine called Vino. Unless I'm crazy. But anyways, I think that this guy he's clearly probably got fired as a captain after this, and he's
Oh, sure.
He never captain after this.
He's just trying to figure out what to do, and he's like, "Oh, I could write a book about this shit."
100%.
So here are the theories. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious what the theories are, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a couple points. One is that pretty simple. Robert Wagner raged. I mean, he smashed
smashed a glass bottle for a dude saying your wife's a good actress.
No, he said she should work more.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's like, fuck you.
Smashed a bottle.
Smashing the bottle was a little over top. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
that was a little much. Like,
yeah.
And Jorge was like, yeah, it's
so. Did you start getting into it? I mean,
so one theory is that they raged at each other and they had a fight.
Oh, he went downstairs and he was
no,
like,
and they had like a fight and a physical fight,
you
and
mean,
it was an accident.
Oh, that he killed, like...
Oh,
you're
talking about with fight with Natalie.
He goes to Natalie, he's like, fucking...
Yeah, and they started like physically fighting, and then she
slipped,
went over, or pushed, or whatever, and then it was an accident, and then there you go.
Or either that, or he was just passed out. Maybe Walken was just passed out.
Yeah, maybe he was just asleep. You know what I mean?
He had another doob in the room and like fucking passed out.
Very true. I mean, it was 1 a.m. They were 12 to 19 Vinos deep. And weed. And Quaaludes.
Oh, my God. You like, imagine. So it's like a nightmare.
I'm tired right now thinking about it.
Just think about it.
I just want to puke.
Oh, my God. And you're on a boat. Like,
It's like my worst
nightmare. Fucking wine mixer.
Exactly.
So that's one of the theories.
I honestly think that like that seems because the bruising on her, that's a real because in order for her to get that bruising, she would have to fell off like the boat from
hit the side of the boat
from a reasonable height, hit the boat, but it's on her arms,
but
her legs,
and
her face. So how do you fall off a boat and you hit your arms, legs, and face like on the boat?
If you're drunk as shit and you just trip somewhere on the boat,
you're gonna hit.
Yeah, you're gonna roll.
Yeah.
Maybe she fell, on her hands, right? Try to stop herself.
But also a point on this is the boat was
dinghy,
untied.
that's what I'm saying. The dinghy, like the fact that
somebody untied the boat.
That was where
maybe it was her.
That was where I was going. Is I don't think she was. There's no way she's not gonna go do that. She wouldn't.
If she wanted to get out of there. I think maybe she wanted to go back.
She's like, "Fuck this! I'm out of these crazy
these
dudes.
two guys are fucking fighting.
These
I'm out of here.
Crazy. Everybody's on nudes.
I don't believe that.
No,
I did think at first that maybe she did fall. Like maybe she just went to get some space.
Right.
She goes to the side, gets some space. She falls in. They didn't tie the thing in. She drifts away. Totally plausible. But with the bruises, that's what I was like. Oh, it'd be really easy. They get in a scuffle. And
I do see bruises occurring. Slipping and falling.
But on all of her whole fucking body?
Yeah, and dude, it's just floating.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if they were just
floating in the water, and you know what I mean?
And if they were just kind of scuffling right before, was he grabbing her legs too? Like I could see grabbing her arms,
and
the wrist. I could see the wrist,
and you're like, maybe that's
I'm saying I think it could have been like the bruises of her arms were from him, and then maybe he like. Shoved her, and then she tripped, and then she fucking hit her face or something, then fell in. He's like, oh shit, untie the dinghy. And then he's like, yeah. So I'm saying it's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe
I
that.
don't think that he would like be like, oh shit, I just threw her off. Let me untie the dinghy so it can
I don't
look
know.
like.
Maybe he's got that lewd brain. Man.
Also, he's 10 vinos in.
That's right.
He's not thinking about.
He's an actor, bro. He's prepared for this his whole life.
He's number 2.
He's number 2. He's number 2. He's fucking lived for this moment. Bro. This is his greatest acting ever.
So true.
Either that or-
It was a bummer. I did watch a documentary that was put on by the family, and it came out recently, and it was like the daughters put it on, and there was a lot of interviews with Natalie. She seemed like a really cool person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was what made me sad about the story. You know what I mean? Because she
does
seemed
seem like-
really
no,
cool.
she
She
seems
seemed
legit.
smart. She seemed
And she had daughter,
like great mom.
Kids,
she
bro.
seemed like all that stuff. So that
always so
part
sad.
sucked.
Yeah.
But there was I didn't like the Robert Wagner interview in it.
Oh, did he seem like he was like?
Was it the
acting?
one that you read, or
It's
it's
the
different?
one that I read.
Okay.
Yeah. I just didn't like it. I don't know what to
Like,
say.
like
There's
him,
It
his
seemed off,
demeanor,
like,
what
seemed
he
off.
said.
just
or-
how much drinking and how he touched on the high thing and how smashing the bottle. And I don't know. Like, it just seems like so much rage and the circumstances are so suspect.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? That there must be more to the story. I do kind of believe Christopher Walken. Do you know what I mean? Where he wasn't really part of it.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the same time, I kind of believe Christopher Walken's side of it, where he maybe was involved in this family distraught, like, drama. And then he's like, you know, I'm going to just go to bed. Fuck this shit.
Right.
You know, I shouldn't have come on here.
Well,
And
yeah,
then,
because
you know.
if he really said that, then
Yeah.
you know, and if Robert definitely was raging out at him, I don't know. I just think it was an accident. I just think she fucking slipped
Really?
in the boat,
You're
and
on
that's
that?
where she got the bruises. And then she was so drunk, she went
Yeah.
over, and she didn't know how to swim, right? So then,
That per Christopher Walken, she didn't really
Right.
know how to swim.
even
Yeah.
if she did, if you're that drunk, it's pretty
I know.
probable that
No,
you're
I
gonna
know.
drown.
It sounds like they
And
were,
I think she tried to get on the dinghy because I think that
she's like, I'm out.
yeah, I think that she was like, I'm out, I'm going back shore.
Yeah, it's tricky because I do believe Christopher Walken, and you know, I'm kind of with you, but I feel like there's more info.
Oh, there's
I do-
definitely
do you know what I mean?
hidden,
Yeah,
hidden
like-
info that
Yeah, like maybe he didn't kill her,
But maybe they got in a little fight. Maybe they got in a
Yeah,
fight, and
yeah,
then,
maybe he
then
hit her.
she stormed off.
and maybe he hit her.
Yeah, it's
True.
Possible. He was all
And then she's like,
drunk and
I'm
raged, and then
fucking
she's like, I'm
now.
out of here.
I'm
Yeah.
out now.
right.
You know what I mean? And they were on more drugs than we know.
But-
And we know,
But we don't. Nothing really points that he hit her, right? I mean, she had a bruise,
she had
on,
a
her
bruise
face.
on her face, but apparently it was a light bruise. Probably
Maybe it was
nothing.
Like, maybe it was like a slight back.
I don't know. Yeah.
A slight backhand.
Yeah.
Nah, if he
No,
hit her,
like a 1970s backhand.
if he was
It
raging,
was
much different than
He
now.
took his glove off. And
Much
like,
if
different
he was
now.
if he was raging so bad that he smashed the bottle, he's not gonna light backhand her. He's
doesn't
probably
wanna
like
ruin
he was
the-
probably
Dude,
gonna,
he doesn't want to ruin the
Smashing
moneymaker.
the bottle is the only thing that I'm like, what the fuck?
And that's excess.
That's excess.
That's why I thought it was coke.
That's the
for
right
sure.
word.
Yeah.
That's why I was
the
like,
right
he's
word.
on coke. For
That's
sure.
the right word.
Yeah.
All right, so let's figure out where you're at.
I do believe that there's something.
Don't
else.
forget that the captain of the boat and the sister, think that Robert Wagner killed her.
yeah, but that's it. That's all they said. Like that's
Well,
You know, what-
it's all
what other
accounts.
details?
It's just all accounts of like
fine. But what else did they say that they think that? Did they see them fight?
he was raging jealous.
That's it.
He didn't, you know what I mean? He wanted her to stay at home, you know, and that's the comment by Walken about working more, you know what I mean? And that whole,
and
thought,
and
you know?
he was made a person of interest later.
yes. Literally the LAPD
20 years later.
opens
Yeah,
it
that
up
was 20 years
again.
later, which I don't like
know.
that.
I don't like that either. Yeah. All right, where are you at?
I'm just gonna stick to that it was an accident. That
Yeah.
I think that maybe they got into a little argument or something. I just think that she wanted to get out of there. I think
Yeah.
she wanted to go back to shore, or whatever, and she slipped and drowned.
I I think that's
Yeah.
I think they got into a fight and then she left and she was trying to get away and then slipped and drowned.
Yeah.
So I think there's more to the story, but I do think
Yeah,
it
there's
wasn't.
definitely more
I do
that
think
we
it was
don't
an accident.
know. There's details
Yeah.
missing, but
Okay.
we're never going to find out.
Yeah. Okay.
They're hiding
I think that's
something.
pretty logical. I think it's a pretty logical conclusion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
like
think they're
it.
definitely like hiding some details here and there, but I don't think that it's anything that's going to be pointing to a different conspiracy or a
Yeah.
different theory here that we haven't looked
Yeah.
at.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. All right. I kind of agree with you guys. I think I think there's more to the story, but at the same time, I think
a
there's an
tragedy.
accident.
Yeah.
I think they got wasted. It's a lesson in not, going on a dinghy boat while you're on Quaaludes.
Especially
and
boating, man.
10
It's-
vinos in.
Can't fuck around
Yeah.
with that.
And fucked up. Like, you know what I mean?
Just don't be on the
like-
vinos.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, I love you, Natalie Wood. I thought you were great. And
Let us know your thoughts, guys. What do you think happened?
Yeah.
Tell us.
that's right.
Make sure to follow us on social media.
Please.
Just we're everywhere. Just go ahead and search for Conspiracy Podcast, Instagram, TikTok, on YouTube, and give us a follow. Twitter.
Yeah. Any other info or pieces of information? We always love to hear from you guys. We love those emails when you guys send, hey, check out this article or this piece
So
of
that's
information.
info at
theconspiracypodcast.com.
99.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to reach out to us, please email us at info@theconspiracypodcast.com. You can check us out on Instagram at A Conspiracy Podcast. Also, don't forget to subscribe. You can catch a new podcast almost every week. Just hit the little subscribe button at the top. It's a plus sign. We love show ideas, corrections, hate mail. Thanks a bunch.